Hey, what's up, guys? You're back with Chris Comics. I just wanted to talk to you guys about some of my favorite Horus Heresy novels. Now, there's about 54 books in the entire series, and I'm not going to talk about all of them. I just wanted to talk about some of my favorites, and this is the first part of a few videos that I'll be doing on this. So I'm going to go through the first 5 books in the series. The first 5 books are, I think, imperative to the whole story, and they are linking and they have like an end point. Everything after that tangentially links into it, and a lot of them explore different things before and after the Horus Heresy. But the first 5 books in the series, Horus Rising, False Gods, Galaxy in Flames, The Flight of the Eisenstein, and Fulgrim, all follow sequentially. Fulgrim is the one that's not as sequential, but it does link up with the other books at its end. So the first book I want to talk about is Horus Rising by Dan Abnett. This is the start of the heresy, but it takes place like a year before things really start to become bad. Basically, it follows Horus. Horus is one of the Primarchs. Primarchs are these demigod type human beings. Created by the Emperor of Mankind to basically be generals, to essentially they are on this great crusade. So basically all the generals, all the Primarchs and their fellow legions, or legions like the Imperial Fists, the Sons of Horus, which is the legion we'll be following, which are actually the Lunar Wolves at the moment, and then like the Ultramarines and the Blood Angels, all these legions, Dark Angels as well. It follows all these legions as they go on this great crusade to unite the galaxy against, or basically just unite humanity as a whole against any Xenos threats in the universe or in the galaxy, and basically just strengthen humanity as a whole. Because before the Horus Heresy, there was this event called it was basically the whole of humanity was scattered, and there was like no unity. It was like all the planets that have been colonized up to this point have lost contact with each other. There were demonic invasions, crazy stuff has been happening on all these planets all around the galaxy. So the Emperor, who's been around for thousands of years, finally got enough power and everything together to basically start harnessing it and pushing this entire crusade and linking up and uniting humanity again. And that was a thing where he started was a thing called the Unification Wars. Unification Wars happened on Earth. Basically, he started there, unifying Earth, taking over all these tribes and stuff that had power during that time. And what he did was, from that he created the Primarchs and the Space Marines. Now, Space Marines are basically mini Primarchs. Primarchs are basically, how can I say, like 4 or 5 meter tall giant human beings that are like, all of them have unique powers and abilities. Some are like very strong telepaths, and Space Marines are mini versions of that, but they don't have those specific powers. A lot of them have mental powers as well, but majority of them are just superhuman, and they're like maybe 3 meters, 3.5, 4 meters tall. Primarchs are sometimes like double that size. So basically what I want to talk about is the first 5 books in the series. So Horus Rising is the start of that, and it follows most closely a character called Garviel Loken. Garviel Loken is one of the captains of the Lunar Wolves, later to be known as the Sons of Horus, and it's through his experiences you witness Horus, the leader of the Sons of Horus, Lunar Wolves, his fall to chaos and how he becomes completely opposite to what the Emperor wants to do with the universe and the galaxy. More the galaxy, the universe is much bigger outside of that. But anyway, so the Horus Rising deals with Horus's ruminations about like, why did the Emperor do this and that. It's like it's basically the seeds of doubt is sown in that book, and it's very well written. A lot of the best characters throughout the Horus Heresy start from there. And it follows most of the Primarchs, explaining, well, it doesn't follow most of them, but it follows like key ones and important ones, like Sanguinius, Fulgrim, and Rogel Dawn in the first book. and it explains how their legions kind of work. Now, the first book ends with some events happening. I'm not going to go into complete detail with that, but I just want to explain the first 5. So some details happen that basically push Horus to kind of doubt the whole mission that he's been sent on. The second book, False God, continues this and basically sets him on a path of contention with some of his previous conquests and apparent failure with Lorgar's equerry Erebus. Erebus is one of the more key members of the downfall of the heresy. Very, very, very interesting character, not a cool character. Most people who like Warhammer despise this character because he's such a little bastard. But basically, at the end, in the middle of False Gods, Horus gets injured on his way to fix this treachery that happened on one of the planets that he had conquered. And through that, he's starting to die, and the group of people with Garville Loken, the Mournival, which is like a group of 4 captains who are basically the closest to the Primarch Horus. They give him advice, and he asks them for advice, not outright because they're not an official body, but they're more like a friend group, essentially, these very closest friends and sons. So two of them decide to take Horus and basically try and heal him with any means necessary, meaning that he'll get closer to chaos and you'll get corrupted. And Garville and Torquat and the 2 others during this time were trying to find out what exactly happened. And long story short, they managed to find out what happened. And at the end of the book, Horus is finally corrupted. Galaxy in Flames, the next book in the series by Ben Counter. I forgot to mention, False Gods was written by Graham McNeil, one of my favorite writers from Black Library and Games Workshop. Galaxy in Flames continues the story, and basically it all ends in an event called the Dropsite Massacre. Not the Dropsite Massacre, Istvan III Massacre. Basically, the legions, all the traitor legions now under Horus, he has basically started this plan to cull any loyalist sentiments in these legions and basically root them out. Some of my favorite characters come from this book or start to arrive in this book, Garrow, Nathaniel Garrow from the Death Guard, very cool character, very important later to the lore as well. And then in Flight of the Eisenstein, the next book, he continues as well, because the Galaxy of Flames and Flight of the Eisenstein overlap in a bit, because Garrow is very important in both books. So basically what happens at the end of Galaxy in Flames, Garville and all the loyalist legions basically get totally destroyed, but they do put up a big fight and they ruin Horus's momentum for a little bit, basically timing him down on this planet of Istvan III for a long time compared to what he wanted to be. And then during this fight, another character from another legion called Saul Tarvitz from the Emperor's Children warns Nathaniel Garrow of what's happening, and this is what happens in the Flight of the Eisenstein book. The Flight of the Eisenstein book follows Nathaniel Garrow as they run back to the Emperor, to the Imperium. It's halfway through. Was most of the events, like I said, overlaps with Galaxy in Flames. So the Flight of the Eisenstein ends with Garrow getting back to Earth with some of the remembrances that were, and some of the people that survived the massacre, to get to Rogel Dawn, one of the most loyal sons of the Emperor, and explains to him what has happened. I mean, he does take some convincing, because at first he doesn't know you can trust Garrow at all. And then that book ends there. And the next book goes back a few years with Fulgrim. Fulgrim is the Primarch of the Emperor's Children. Follows his fall to chaos as he fights an alien breed called the Lair. And he falls to a chaos god named Slanesh. Unknowingly, first he thought, oh no, it's just, he just got hurt or whatever, and then he got stronger. But the more and more he becomes more petulant, and he becomes more, he becomes more crazed, and he indulges in any type of excess he can, more pain, more pleasure, all that kind of stuff. And every little thing that someone does against him, he perceives that as a slight towards him, and so on. Long story short, Fulgrim tries to get one of his other brothers to join him in this heresy, Ferrus Manus of the Iron Hands. That doesn't go as well, because as deluded as he is, Fulgrim thought that he could just tell Ferrus Manus to do this and then he would do it. Clearly that was not the case, and immediately Ferrus Manus was like going to kill him. Fulgrim escapes, and then he heads back to prepare another planet, Istvan V, for a full assault from the Emperor and from the other Primarchs and other legions to try and destroy them. Little do they know that half the legions that are sent to help them on this crusade, the Iron Warriors, the Word Bearers, the Night Lords, all of those legions are already with Horus already. So they get betrayed, and the Salamanders, the Raven Guard, and the Iron Hands are literally wiped out. Two Primarchs are seemingly dead. One gets away, and Horus celebrates his first great victory over the Imperium. And that is where the first 5 books in the series end. I will go through the other ones I think are noteworthy and very awesome in the next video. But I thought I would talk to you guys about these 5 books so far and just give you a little bit of background about the Horus Heresy as well. Thanks for joining me, guys. It was awesome just talking to you guys about this, and I hope to see you soon.